Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're dropping you straight into a hyper-realistic thought experiment. We're going to look at exactly what happens when you possess infinite wealth. So put yourself directly into this scenario right now. You aren't just rich, you are at the absolute apex of human financial power.
Congratulations, you're a trillionaire. You are literally the richest person to ever live. You're worth more than 4 Jeff Bezoses combined. Just to put that into perspective for a second, if you spent $1 million every single day, you wouldn't go broke for another 2,700 years. The entire world is completely in the palm of your hand.
But there's always something. The dream is unlimited freedom, right? The nightmare, though, is that you are instantly the most famous person on Earth. Your face is on every screen. Crowds stand outside your building, just staring up at your windows. Suddenly, your safety is completely compromised, and you can't just hire a bodyguard. No, you have to hire a full detail, 12 armed operators minimum, highly trained, working rotating 24-hour shifts. It's the kind of protection usually reserved for sitting presidents.
Naturally, your old Honda Civic just isn't going to cut it anymore. So you buy a Bugatti. Actually, scratch that. You buy the entire Bugatti company for $2 billion. To you, it's simply 0.2% of your net worth. It's the equivalent of someone making $100 grand a year buying a nice jacket. Your accountant coldly logs a $2 billion acquisition as a rounding error.
But you still need somewhere to actually live, and your old apartment is just swarming with paparazzi. So to escape, you buy a compound. 14 acres, hidden behind towering walls and heavy iron gates. There's a guardhouse manned around the clock. It's an easy $200 million, and you can't even see the main house from the street.
Here's the thing, though. A place this massive doesn't run itself. Scale completely ruins simplicity. You need housekeepers, groundskeepers, 2 private chefs on rotation, property managers. You've got an entire IT staff just to manage the security cameras. You have a personal assistant who literally has her own personal assistant. Within a single month, 63 people work at your house just to keep the dizzying, massive machinery of your daily life running.
And nobody warned you about this part. $1 trillion makes money way faster than you could ever possibly spend it. You buy a $400 million 747 and completely gut it. You buy a $600 million yacht with its own submarine bay. And yet, even sitting in the most boring investments imaginable, your net worth grows by tens of millions of dollars every single day while you sleep. You wake up richer than when you went to bed. Money is handled.
Security is handled. The sprawling properties, handled. The massive staff, handled. The cars, handled. Everything is a perfectly oiled machine quietly running in the background of your life.
But let's say you just want coffee, a simple coffee from the local spot you've gone to for years. Well, now your security team needs 45 minutes of advance notice just to clear the route. And when you finally walk through the door, the entire shop goes dead silent. People just stare. The barista's hands physically shake as they hand you the cup. You notice someone filming you from behind a laptop. The coffee tastes exactly the same, but the world around it is broken. So you simply stop going.
So you decide to do some real good. You write a massive $500 million check to disaster relief. But because of your unimaginable wealth, the media covers it for about half a news cycle. I mean, $500 million is what you earn in a slow week. People are incredibly grateful for about one day, and then, inevitably, they demand more.
But, it's not the strangers that really get to you. Your phone rings constantly with lawyers and wealth managers, but the friends from before, they sound different now. They speak so carefully around you. You invite your old college roommate over for the weekend. He agrees with everything you say. He compliments the wine, the grounds, the room. He laughs at jokes that just aren't funny. He is completely terrified to ever argue with you again. That friendship, it's just gone.
And then the lawsuits start rolling in. Not 1 or 2, 17 frivolous claims in your first 6 months alone. An old business partner from 9 years ago comes out of the woodwork. A total stranger in Arizona claims you promised her $10 million at a fundraiser you never even attended. Your lawyers just tell you to get used to it.
The legal system is now basically just a toll you have to pay, and you are the deepest pocket on Earth. You quietly settle cases for millions of dollars, not because you're guilty, but just because fighting them in public costs more in PR. This results in a $40 million annual legal budget, managed by an entire floor of lawyers you've never even met.
Daily life goes on, and eventually you meet someone. She's sharp, she's funny, and she doesn't mention the money. But then, after 3 weeks, she casually drops the name of your pilot or mentions which car you prefer taking into the city. She looked you up. Of course she did. But now a suffocating paranoia sets in. Does she like you or does she like the compound? Does she like the jet? Once that question gets into your head, you can never get it out.
So you stop calling her, but the damage is already done. A waiter or a valet from the restaurant leaks your secret romance to a tabloid. And just like that, her name, her face, her apartment building, they're everywhere. Strangers start sending her threats. You completely erased her normal, anonymous life just by sitting across from her at a table. You send an apology. She reads it. She never responds.
And the leaks, they only get worse from there. Someone from your past sells a story to a magazine. It's a stripped-of-context joke you made in a dorm room back in 2011. Now millions of people who have never met you form a vicious opinion of you. And your past was sold for what your team estimates was $250,000. To you, absolute pennies. To them, a life-changing payday. Your crisis PR team immediately steps in and tells you the #1 rule. Do not respond. Responding makes it a bigger story. So you can't call the friend who betrayed you, you can't confront them, you just have to sit silently in your massive office behind your 7 glowing screens and watch someone sell your old life to the highest bidder.
Later, your mother calls and mentions your brother is struggling with his mortgage, so you secretly send him a few $1,000,000. But at a holiday dinner, after you fly the whole family out on your 747, he sits at the absolute far end of the table. He refuses to look at you, he just stares at his plate, he leaves before dessert without saying goodbye, and later tells your mother that the money ruined the family. You can't unend the money. You can't close the gap between your lives with a conversation anymore.
Back at the compound, your head of security finds the source of those persistent tabloid leaks. They extract metadata from a photo, match the camera angle to a specific window in the East Wing, and narrow it down to Linda, your housekeeper. On a Wednesday morning, you stand at a second-floor window. You coldly watch as a man in a suit escorts her out the gate with a cardboard box. She doesn't look up.
You try to escape it all. You take your brand new yacht out to an ocean so blue it looks completely fake. The sun sets, turning everything gold. Your private chef serves pan-seared Michelin-starred sole. But as you sit down, you realize the dining table on this massive vessel is set for exactly one person.
You fly back home. You go to sleep in your massive master suite, but you wake up at 3 a.m. The compound is dead silent. You wander the halls, walking past your empty 60-seat theater. The only sound in the entire house is the faint, mechanical hum of the security cameras physically adjusting to track your every single step.
You walk outside. You stand barefoot on a cold, wet grass right in the middle of your massive lawn. You look up. It's the exact same silent sky. The exact same stars you used to stare at from your apartment roof when you were completely broke and the rent was late. The stars haven't moved at all. Everything underneath them has.
The sun comes up. You return to your office, completely surrounded by screens displaying your companies, your calendar, your massive, untouchable portfolio. Outside your window, the security teams do their shift changes. The groundskeeper rides a mower across the perfect lawn. Over 60 people are here, working at your compound right now, buzzing around to keep this flawless machine humming. But you're the only one who actually lives here.
So, as you are left sitting alone in the quiet, absolute perfection that you've bought, you have to ask yourself this final, profound question. Is infinite wealth truly the ultimate freedom you dreamed of? Or have you just purchased an impossibly expensive, flawlessly secure cage?